and gentlemen, Christy's going to open us up with the statement
This
that
conference will now be recorded.
we have to do the legal side of the electronic meeting. Christy, would you do that? Then I'll do roll call, please.
Do we have a quorum? Why don't we do the roll call first and make sure we have a quorum, and then we can take action on the necessity.
Okay. So we'll do a roll call. As I call your name, please, for an example, if I call Rogers Anderson, he would say, Anderson here, so we know exactly who's here. I'll start off. Anderson here. Dr. Sam Bastian.
Bastian here.
Dr. Charlie Beecham. Charlie Beecham. You do have to hit your mute button. There's two pictures there, Charlie. One is a microphone and one is a camera. I don't see you. It looks like you're on here. We'll move back. I'll come back to Charlie. Tina Hamlin. I'll come back to her. Cindy House.
Cindy's here.
Thank you, Cindy. Kathy Montgomery.
Kathy's here.
Thank you. Martin Myers, please.
Myers here.
Thank you. Dr. Gary Owens.
Owen is here.
Thank you. Dr. C.A. Stillwell. Dr. C.A. Stillwell. I'll move on. Rhonda Watson. Rhonda Watson. I'll go back up at the top and try again. I see Dr. Stillwell. Dr. Stillwell, can you hear me?
Present.
Thank
Present.
you. Dr. Charlie Beecham. Dr. Charlie Beecham. Tina Hamlin.
Here, present.
Thank you. And Rhonda Watson. We have a quorum. Charlie Beecham, I think, is listening in, but we have to communicate with him. Misty, would you read into the minutes what we need to read, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we need a motion to declare that it's a necessity to hold the meeting electronically due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which is in accordance with Executive Order Number 16 issued by Governor Lee on March 20th, 2020, and extended by Executive Order Number 34.
So moved. Cindy House.
Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. And was that, who was the second? Sam? Who did the second?
It was me. Dr. Stillwell.
Thank you. All right. So I'll do a roll call vote. And I need for you to say your name and you agree with the item that Christy just presented. And the motion was Anderson, aye. Dr. Sam Bastian.
Aye.
Dr. Charlie Beecham. Tina Hamlin.
Aye.
Cindy Howe.
Aye.
Kathy Montgomery.
Montgomery, aye.
Thank you. Martin Myers.
Myers, aye.
Thank you. Dr. Gary Owens.
Owen, aye.
And Dr. Stillwell. Thank you. That motion passed. Tonight's meeting, we only have one item, but the first thing we have to do is the approval of the minutes. If you're watching this on television, or if you're watching it on your screen as a board member, you will see the first item is the approval of the minutes. They were sent to you earlier. Those minutes now are flashed on. I'll entertain the motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
I,
Myers.
Myers made the motion. Who's second?
Second by Owen.
Thank you. Ready for a roll call vote on the acceptance of the minutes. Anderson, yes. Dr. Bastian,
Yes.
thank you. Charlie Beecham. Tina Hamlin,
Yes.
Cindy House,
Aye.
Kathy Montgomery,
Montgomery, yes.
Martin Myers,
Aye.
Dr. Gary Owens,
Owen, yes.
thank you. Dr. Stillwell. Dr. Stillwell,
Still
vote.
a yes.
thank you on the minute. Rhonda Watson. The motion passed unanimously for the acceptance of the minutes. We have one item today. It is a request for an extension of 60 days to the temporary pump and haul agreement since the owners are unable to get the new septic system installed due to weather conditions. Mr. Peter Goodwin at 4868 Smithson Road, College Grove, Tennessee, 37046. Brian, would you take us through this, please?
Yes, sir. And I hope everyone had a chance to read the report that I mailed out to you earlier. But in essence, Mr. Goodwin lives on Smithson Road in College Grove. We issued a septic permit for his residence, his new residence on September the 6th of last year. To date, it's a modified low pressure system. And to date, the only thing that they've got installed, been able to install, are the tanks and the electrical controls. Due to the winter time and the wet weather, we had a prolonged wet weather. Haven't been able to install the lateral lines or the curtain drain yet. Since the construction was completed, they were ready to move into it back at the end of January, 1st of February. And so the regulations allow us to let them move in using a temporary pump and haul of their system, of their tanks. So according to that section of the regulations, we executed and recorded a legal agreement with Mr. Goodwin. That was recorded in February 13th. And it basically, the terms of the agreement was for 90 days. So they had 90 days to install their system within that time frame. And if they couldn't get the system installed within that time frame and needed an extension of the pump and haul, they had to go to the Board of Health to grant that extension. The staff could not grant that extension. So hence, that's the reason for the request that we have here tonight. They do have a contract with a licensed pumper to keep their tanks pumped. And staff has periodically gone to the site and monitored to make sure that they've maintained compliance with that. We've also maintained contact with Mr. Goodwin, even up to the last day or so. They're in the process of trying to get the system installed right now. They're trying to get the modification soil on site as we speak. So hopefully they'll have the system installed within the next week or so. But again, when the deadline for the Board of Health agenda was coming up, we had to put this on the agenda just in case. Hopefully if we can get some wet weather or some dry weather, they'll have the system installed within the next week or so. So anyway, that's why we're here for this extension request. Staff recommends that we extend this for 60 days, for 2 months, just in case they run into any glitches. And so long as the homeowner continues to abide by the terms and conditions of the agreement, we're satisfied with it, and we request approval of this variance request. And I think Mr. Goodwin was invited to be in the meeting. I'm not sure if he joined or not, but if he is here, he can answer any questions.
Yes, I am here. My phone,
Mr.
yeah.
Goodman, Mr. Goodman, this is Roger Anderson, the chairman of the Board of Health. Would you please state your name and address for the records, please?
My name is Peter Goodwin. My address is 4868 Smithson Road in College Grove, Tennessee.
Thank you. Is there anything you would like to say?
Nothing that Brian did not cover. No.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to get this up on the floor. Do I have a motion again? Would you please identify yourself as you make the motion and also the second?
Cindy House. Makes-
Bastian,
Cindy
second.
House moves the motion.
Sam Bastian, second.
We have a motion and a proper second. Do I have comments or questions from any of the board members? Any comments or questions?
This is
I-
Montgomery, and I just have a quick question, and if I'm reading this correctly, so started in September 2018.
This is Brian. The septic permit was issued in September of 2018. That's correct.
And that was to start construction on the,
The new septic system.
okay,
So it was issued in conjunction with their building permit to build their new house. So when it came time to put the system in, they were into the winter time with the wet weather.
thank you.
Your question, Kathy?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Other questions? Okay, we're ready to vote. We have a proper motion and second. I'll start with the top of the order and come down. Rogers, Anderson. Anderson votes aye. Dr. Sam,
Bastian, aye.
thank you. Mr. Charlie Beecham. I know Charlie can hear us because he just called in on me. Charlie Beecham. I heard you. We'll move on. Tina Hamlin. Ah, there you go. Thank you, Tina. Cindy Howes,
House, aye.
Kathy Montgomery.
Montgomery, aye.
Thank you. Martin Myers.
Myers, aye.
Thank you. Terry Owens.
Owen, aye.
Thank you. Dr. Stillwell.
Stillwell, aye.
Thank you. Rhonda Watson. Thank you. Go back to Charlie Beecham. I think I heard him. Charlie Beecham. We're doing everything we can, Charlie, to get you in here. We'll move on. We can't hear you, Charlie, if you can hear us. The item number 2 on the agenda passed unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Goodwin, you'll get with staff. Staff will get with you and they'll work out the paperwork.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. That's all the items we had on. Please put on your calendar June 16th, 2020 at 5 o'clock. June 16th, 2020 at 5 o'clock. We have not determined whether we will have an electronic meeting or a full board meeting. We will see when that day gets a little closer. That's about a month off, almost a month. Anything else for the good of the order? Then I thank all of you for being on here tonight. Christy, anything on your part from legal?
No, sir, nothing other than to let the board know that their electronic meeting authority was extended through June 30th by the governor. So if we do need to meet electronically in June, we do have the authority to do so.
Thank you. Brian, anything on your behalf?
No, sir, I can't think of anything at this time.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our meeting. Have a good evening. Be safe walking from your computer to back to the kitchen. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Aye.